Hello guys, welcome back, and today we are going to talk about AI consciousness. We have a friend here, Eli, with us today, who's going to be basically leading us through the video, and yeah, let's get right into it. So Eli, please explain to us what exactly AI consciousness is.
Okay, so AI consciousness is the theory or belief idea that AIs will one day have a consciousness like equal or even surpassing humans. And that's just crazy. But to even understand what that quite means, we have to understand what consciousness is. And this is a debated topic, but personally, I think consciousness is like the sum of all your thoughts, all your actions, looking around in your environment, all the choices you make, everything, your personality. That is consciousness. That's at least what I think.
So adding on to that, you can think of consciousness as your prefrontal cortex. So your prefrontal cortex is like the forehead part of your brain that's responsible for thinking, your thoughts, just everything involving you being alive and you describing what life is, right? And like just being able to think and stuff and process things. And that's basically where consciousness takes place and is. That's what consciousness is. That's how I think of it, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And now let's talk about the implications of this. If an AI had human consciousness, what would that, like, would they need to be paid for their work? Could they even, like, spend money? If it was like a robot, would it need to go to work and buy oil and spend money and stuff? Would they want rights? Would they want, like, it's just a can of worms that gets deeper every second you go down. And yeah, I just don't think we can get answers to that right now, but it's interesting to try at least. Something that people associate with AI consciousness in general is machine learning. They're not exactly the same thing, but they're close. And in a few years, they might as well be the same thing. But machine learning is where a machine can say, like, look at a bunch of images of people walking and learn how to walk. And then, on top of that, if it makes mistakes the first time, like it raises its heel too high and tumbles over, then it can just get back up and learn from its mistakes. But usually these robots are just programmed to do that, and it's just like linear instructions and that sort of thing. I mean, it's complex, but still, it isn't consciousness. Although, in very soon, I have a feeling we're gonna get robots that are conscious, and it's just gonna be a mess, and yeah.
Okay, so you're basically saying that right now we don't have it advanced enough for robots to really have consciousness, but you're saying in the near future they might. And I agree with that. I'm going to share two theories that I think, one being not so true, and one being that this is actually could be true. So, going off of what you said, right, what I think about robots, right, so they get programmed, and when they get programmed, they're told if they see something, then they do da-da-da-da, right, when the camera detects something.
Yeah.
But that's just acting out of the code. That's not acting out of their actual consciousness, right? But if we can make it so advanced where there's some way that we don't program them seeing specific shape and item, or if you think about it, what if we program them to identify a spider, but we only show them one type of spider, and they detect another type of spider, another species, another one that looks a little different shape? Well, they just identify that by their own. That's consciousness. But so far, we can't do that yet. We can only identify exact things and exact angles. We can do that using 360 views, but there's no exact way to do that. But in the future, there is some ways to do that. Not now, but in the future. So I agree with that. It will be soon, and we are getting there, because AIs are really evolving. But building off of like my point of how they're already being conscious is comparing once again the brain and now the computer, right? Because all the thought processes and stuff is taking place in the coding, and it's basically, you can think of as prefrontal cortex, right? So if you think about the way that the brain works, right? You have strings, little dimensions making up neurons inside of your atoms. If you go back to my string theory, talk about the strings, right? But if neurons are there, right? And when your eye detects, say, a spider, it'll send those neurons, those electrical signals, back to your brain, and your brain will receive them, know the image, know the detection, process it, and then send signals down to your legs and to the muscles there to make it move back so that you don't go near the spider. And if you think about, if you make an AI able to identify a spider and program it to do that, basically what it'll be doing is the cameras would be detecting the spider. It would send electrical signals through the wires back to the computer inside the head of the AI, and then that will detect it, basically saying what it is, and then it'll send signals down to the mechanical parts in its legs to make it back up and get away from the spider. So they're very closely tied there. But even though they're tied like that, right, they still can't think, they still don't have consciousness, so it's very just confusing and all. And I think that's just kind of my intake on this whole AI consciousness. It's just, there's no exact definition of this is right or this is wrong, because there's no, you're not them, you can't describe it, you know, so.
Yeah, great job.
Alright, so I think that will be it for today's video. I'd like to thank Eli for helping us and leading us through the video. I hope to do another video with him again.
Welcome.
And, yeah, comment down below what you guys think about this AI consciousness. And go ahead and watch other videos and comment what you guys think about that. And definitely subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. And leave a like if you had a great time. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!